Miss Hutchison's class at Lawrence High School started the idea of a new garden in 2020 after reading headlines about how difficult it was for families to afford food during the pandemic, with about 10% of Lawrence families experiencing food insecurities.
And they said, what can we do about it? It's so frustrating that we have these problems, but there's nothing that we can do. So we said, hey, how about we start a garden at our school to help students that go to Lawrence High?
After months of filling out the paperwork for the garden, they needed money, so they applied for a grant from Farm to School. They finally started working on the garden around last year. Miss Woods with Intertribal Club and Miss Ball are just some of the few people that have also been working on the garden.
My students were the ones who planted this pollinator garden, so I wrote a grant to the Kansas Native Plant Society, and they awarded us with plants, and so we put this garden in last fall. And so I'm the one who kind of started it and helped maintain it, but our students played a really big role in getting it started.
Right now, it's actually supposed to be a big collaboration. I don't want it just to be one class, one teacher. So although my biology class started it, we have now started collaborating with the agricultural program. Miss Landers runs FFAs, the Future Farmers of America, and her plant science class. Intertribal Club actually planted one of our beds last year, so we have indigenous corn growing, and then there are also plans to do a Three Sisters type thing with squash and with beans.
And Intertribal Club put in what was called a Three Sisters garden. So we put in corn, beans, and gourds.
While planting in the garden, they ran into a few obstacles.
Materials are super expensive. Like, we got 2 garden beds, 8 by 10 or so, for $500 because wood used to be or was so expensive.
Probably the biggest thing was digging up this terrible non-native grass that they put in, or this plant that's not even really grass. It took me, I think it was 12 hours to dig up the plot.
I think getting the soil up to par will be a lot, because it was literally just baked solid soil. I don't know if you'd call it soil out there in between the buildings.
If you want to help with the garden, or if you want to know more about the garden, please come see Miss Hutchison in room 164 to see what's up. And with that note, this has been Jaden Morris for The Lions Roar.